everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is It's About the Pasta, a Vanderpump Rules podcast. We're at season 11, the season finale, episode 15. We've made it. Thank God. Jesus Christ. Okay, but we have a lot to say on the episode. But before we get into it, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast. We have Summer is Fun, a Summer House podcast, which is also Martha's Vineyard podcast and a Winter House podcast. And we have the show One Season Wonders. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Meredith, we have a ton of reviews to get through. Are you ready? I'm just going to dive in.
Yeah, rapid fire up.
Okay, so the first one is 1 star from Ginger666, so the literal devil.
Oh my God.
Quote me. And it's titled Boring. And it reads, they love Dana, the most unfunny, boring, stiff character. They have no insights about the show. One of them doesn't believe you should have animals in your home. You're so weird.
That has to be from season 8, but like I can't remember.
Why are you watching season 8?
I have no clue what I said about. I think it was Dana's cat, but yeah, I'm the not.
Dana's a cat. Oh my God. Listen up. If you're watching season 8, you have more issues. Okay. Don't fucking listen to this podcast if you're watching season 8, first off. Second off, you know what? We're not animal people. Find a different podcast. And third of all, how dare you say we have no insights? We take notes on this whole fucking show. We got tons of insights. Okay. So we eat, breathe, and live. Jesus.
Listen. What I can promise you is maybe or maybe not there'll be insights, but there'll be a lot of opinions. That's what I can promise you.
Yeah, we never claimed to be factual. That was never it.
Unapologetically full of opinions.
Yeah, fuck off. Okay, so the rest of them I think are 5 stars, so we're fine. Anyway,
good.
This review is from KL Khalit, titled The Podcast for Me, 5 stars, and says, after listening to Norris the Cat review on a recent pod, I had to write a review. And this is the podcast for me for all the reasons Norris gave. The Toms are awful, and Katie can do no wrong. I love all the laughs I get from listening. Love you, ladies. Yeah, fuck you, Norris.
I think I need a sticker. We were talking, like, I want a sticker to put on, like, a water bottle with Norris's
of the
review.
Norris's review. Yeah, that was so funny. Okay, next one from Darby Harden, 5 stars, titled The Best VPR Podcast. It says, 5 stars. I'm a day one fan of Vanderpump Rules, the real deal. And this is the only VPR podcast I have a subscription to, and I listen to a lot of them. Reasons being, these bees are down to earth, tell it like it is, and don't give a fuck. Quote, I can't cry because these eyeglasses are milk. Are mink. Scheana Shay. Wow, I ruined that. Not milk, but mink. You know, Scheana Shay.
Cute Alicia can't read.
You know. I never claimed to be smart. Thank you so much, Darby. The only podcast for her. Okay, next one is TGOG Stan, 5 stars, titled Hooked. 4 minutes into the most recent episode, and I'm hooked. Finally, a podcast that says everything I'm thinking. Thank you so much. We read thoughts. Actually, our day job is just reading thoughts.
Reading minds.
Okay, next one is from Podcast Nerd 22, titled My New Fave VPR Podcast, and says, started searching for VPR pods and they were fine. Found this one and haven't stopped listening. Love the host and excited to be part of the community now. From Allie. Thanks, Allie. Do you think it's Allie from Vanderpump? Can you read our chart?
That would be so incredible because, that would like bring together our community and Allie, because I really feel like our community is the wolf pack, and so are James, Allie, Ariana, and Katie, and so it's like the Venn diagram. Yep. Allie's the middle.
I love. Okay, last one is from Daisy Dalier, titled Thanks, 5 stars, and says, one of my most fave podcasts. I love your opinions, friendship, and voices. You are hilarious. Take care and hugs from, I think, California, CA. from Kim.
Ooh, yeah.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks for saying you like our voices. I feel like everybody is self-conscious about their own voice, so that brings me
Mine's
joy.
a nightmare. I think about, because I fall asleep sometimes to podcasts, and I think about people falling asleep to my voice, and it's a nightmare.
Stop.
Like, ugh. Okay, so thank you so much for all the amazing reviews. Please be sure to subscribe, follow. That was so nice. We literally do it for you guys because we are you, basically. Like, we were looking for a community, and I'm so glad we started one. Okay. Also, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta. Meredith is putting a lot of work into our socials, and I am going to take it over while she's on vacation. So you will see a totally different side of whatever I try to do. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, go DM because
and
Alicia's at your service now.
Thank you so much. And join our Patreon if you really want to be part of the community. Patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I and sometimes Sarah talk about whatever the hell we want. And also you get access to any episodes we record early, including this one. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and we watch old seasons of shows, we'll do a Bravo after show so we can still talk about current Bravo news without giving away Bravo spoilers on the podcast. But this is a live season, so we will talk about all the spoilers we want on the actual episodes. And also, we'll say her name on the podcast. So, I had a mini burp. Sorry. Thank you to Allie, Ashton, Chris, Darby, Dee, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Jennifer, Kirsten, Casey, Kelsey, Kirby, Chrissy, Lady Swamp Witch, Lauren, Lindsay with an I, Lindsay with a Y, Priscilla, Robin, Sammy, Sarah, L, Sarah R, Tierney, Tonette, Tracy, Allie, Ann, Emily, Gina, Isabella, Kelly, Leanne, Lisa, Nina, Taylor, and Tara. Ooh, there were some new names, and I'm excited about it. Ooh, threw me off. But you know what? I would have
Welcome
it no
to
other
the
way.
best Patreon era.
I know this is the finale, so I just want to stress thank you to everyone who's on our Patreon. We totally appreciate your donations. And we appreciate you getting involved in our community and talking amongst each other in like the comments. That's really what we wanted, was to bring people together on this Patreon. So we're very happy. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, but we still have one more tier to talk about. So $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, what else do you get? Oh, during live seasons, which is now, we're like at the tail end of the live seasons. This is it actually for Vanderpump. But I will post in the Patreon and ask for your thoughts or opinions or whatever, and we'll read them on the podcast. And also I'll pick a patron of the episode. So I've done a pretty good job at picking different people every single week. But I have to pick someone, and I've decided this finale episode is going to go to our original patron, Jackie, because I haven't picked her for a Vanderpump episode yet. And we love Jackie so much, and we're so thankful she's still with us after so long. It's been years Jackie has been here. Years. So we appreciate her.
She's the matriarch of this wolf pack.
Our wolf pack, I love. Okay, great. I think that's everything I had to go over. Meredith, did I miss anything, or can we jump into the episode?
I think we're ready. I mean, buckle up. I'm overwhelmed with emotions.
Oh, I'm pissed. I'm fucking mad. All right. I'm mad.
Jesus.
When I tell you, I'm going to get in a fight one day. Okay, so previously on Vanderpump Rules, the group is in San Francisco for Kyle Chan's jewelry whiskey. I don't know. Scheana's going to perform. Joe's also in San Fran, and she's upset the girls don't like her. James and Allie aren't currently on the same page for their future. Ariana brought Dan to San Francisco, and Dan's chill as fuck. Everyone's trying to get Ariana to forgive Sandoval like they have, but she doesn't want to. It's basically the whole season.
That's where we're at.
Great. So we're in San Francisco. Everyone's starting to wake up. Everyone talks about Ariana and Dan and Sandoval. But Dan's chill as fuck. Listen, he's not dealing with it. And also we've heard that Dan's been in fights before. So Lala says it sounds like Dan's a square. And Katie's like, actually, Dan's cool. What are you talking about?
I don't understand Lala. I don't understand Lala at all this episode, but it really kicked off and I was like, man, who are you to judge this, like, Ariana's new guy of like a few months? like, I just can't even imagine Ariana telling her stories where Lala would be like, fuck this man.
Do you think she knows that, like, okay, Dan might be a square, but you were almost married to a blob. So, like, which is fucking worse, you know?
Square is greater than blob.
At least fucking Dan's a shape.
True.
Like, fuck you. Honestly.
And not round. So, not like the blueberry girl from Wonka.
The Veronica, whatever. Veruca. Never forget. Anyway, so then we go to Scheana's room. Brock and Scheana are talking about her performance, that Sandoval's helping because he's self-appointed stage manager. I don't know.
Okay. She says, like, he's doing this because, like, without anybody asking. Kyle literally asked for help. It's not weird for your friend who specializes in, like, performances to be the one to help.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I wanted to fight a lot of people, and Brock and Scheana made the list, so I don't even want to talk about their fucking...
To be honest,
their fucking chats.
It's easier to make a list of the people I don't want to fight.
Yeah, there's 4. That's it. There's 4 people I wouldn't fight in this whole episode. That includes the side characters.
Yes.
That includes production, too. Yeah, I'm only not fighting 4. Mm-hmm. So, Brock asks how Scheana feels about her conversation with Sandoval from the night before. And Scheana says her and Sandoval have a good, productive conversation, but she doesn't know if he's genuine or playing her. I was like, oh my God, look at Scheana kind of using her fucking, peanut brain over there. Mm-hmm. I know I'm a big Scheana stan, but she really pissed me off.
Oh, anyway, not today. Not in this house. Not today.
Also, Scheana says Ariana will never think Sandoval is being genuine, and Scheana also has issues trusting anyone at this point in her life. Mm-hmm. Brock says he's sorry, but out of those 2, Sandoval's a better friend because Sandoval actually reaches out, and Sandoval has been the most caring friend of the whole friend group.
I was like, because whoa.
I define caring as having a 7-month affair and not giving a fuck about anyone's feelings.
Also, on national television, peddling a false narrative that your wife punched a girl, and just like a week ago, screaming in her face, throwing her affair from like 15 years ago in her face. That is top tier friendship.
If you looked up caring in the dictionary, his face would be there.
Boom. I was like, Brock clearly just wants like a fun guy friend to hang out. So he's like, Scheana, come on. We love him.
Brock's a moron. Why do we give him a fucking microphone? Take it away. So then Scheana says...
I regret saying I enjoyed him as a B character. Yeah, get off my screen for good.
It's all wash. It's a fucking wash.
Get out of here.
Scheana, though... Again, Scheana using her little brain. She says she doesn't agree, and she talks to Ariana a lot, more than most people in her life. And Brock says Ariana backs out of a lot of things, and Scheana gets that, but she will never turn her back on Ariana because Ariana has always been there for her. And I was like, go Shishi, right? At the beginning, I was like, stand up to your fucking man. Fuck yeah. Ariana's back.
I was so proud of Scheana for saying that. And like, friendships change and evolve as we get older. I think female friendships are really hard the older we get because I'm not going to go out every Friday night with you anymore and like go to a bar. Like, I want to be at home and like have my peace. And like, so we need to learn to evolve with our friendship. So just because like the way Sandoval shows up for you doesn't mean Ariana needs to show up that exact same way.
Yeah, agreed. So when we go on this trolley, James loves the trolley ride. If we've learned anything about James, it's that he loves boats and he loves trolleys. He loves any kind of public transportation, it looks like.
Thank God we got this. This brought some like lightness to the episode.
He loves. Let me tell you, if I was in San Francisco, I saw James Kennedy on a trolley, that would make my whole day. He was joyful.
Honestly.
Dan is also here. He's with the group on the trolley, and he's here because Sandoval isn't. Short, sweet, and simple. So we go to Chinatown for lunch, which I'd like to say, I don't think we've ever seen this group of white people eat Chinese food. This was a fun thing, like authentic Chinese food. I don't even think we've seen them eat sushi, like nothing, you know? So I don't know why that stuck out. I was like, I've never seen them eat Chinese food. Like it just hit. I was like,
I mean, even on like Summer House, like other shows.
They've ordered, well, maybe not as summer. They've ordered Chinese food. They've had to have. But like
Yeah,
going to
but
see
like
this
on like
group of
Winter
white
House,
people,
like
yeah, on this
crappy
like
takeout
Chinese,
maybe.
and this Chinese restaurant really made me laugh. So Brock asked what everyone got up to last night, and Lala was cuddling with Katie. Sorry, Schwartz. But you know, they make the joke like, oh, Lala it said that they could tag team Schwartz, but Schwartz can't handle it. And then we ask if Schwartz has actually ever had a threesome, and he says not yet. And he also says threesomes aren't as good as you think they are, and they're definitely not. As someone who's never had a
I
threesome, it's
agree.
not on my list.
No, I don't know why it would be a joy for people.
Someone always gets hurt. If we've learned anything from Gossip Girl, it's that someone always gets hurt in a threesome. I
Honestly.
mean, so Schwartz pours this really foamy beer and everyone tries roasting him. And he says that he's actually seen a video that you get less bloated this way. And they're like, okay, we should ask the resident bartender, Dan, because Dan's a bartender. And Dan says he has seen this on a YouTube video. And so immediately Schwartz is like, Dan's the man, you know, he's my guy.
This is like everybody on TikTok. Like, oh, I heard this one thing one time on a video.
Everyone's like, yeah, me too. It's facts. Dan literally didn't say if he's right or wrong. He's just like, I saw that video. And Schwartz is like,
He's like, yeah, I saw
yeah,
that too. That's where it
twins.
ended. I saw the video and I moved on.
So Lala starts asking Dan questions, basically grilling him, including how often do you bartend versus train? How many clients do you have? What's your future career? Have you been married? Why did your last relationship end? And how often do you see Ariana? Which he handled. He's a chill dude. This dude's never had anxiety. He has no clue. He's like, this is fine. Schwartz finally steps in and is like, Lala, stop interviewing him, basically. But everyone's very impressed, including Lala, of how Dan takes this grilling. But Lala's just being careful because she doesn't want someone coming into this group dating someone and turns out to be an asshole. I was like, well, it's not
I
really
was
up
like,
to you, huh?
but we also don't have to be worried about people dating people and being assholes. We have to worry about our current cast being assholes. Like, how
Yeah.
about we look inside our own home?
Yeah, agreed.
Like, is asshole in the room with us, Lala?
So Allie asked Dan a real question, and she's like, what drew you to Ariana? And Dan's really cute. He says that they were in this big group talking about kids and having issues with race. And Dan has dealt like that. Dan is of Asian descent. And he was like, that's a lot of the fights that he would get into in the past. Is like when someone would say a racial slur to him, he would then fight because he doesn't take that lightly. And Ariana was very empathetic towards that. And she doesn't have to be because Ariana is a white woman. So she doesn't have the same experiences as Dan has. But it made Dan very attracted to her that she could see his point in all of this. And I thought that was really a good answer. Like, it's better than like she looked. I mean, Dan obviously after is like also she looked good in her dress. But the fact that that's the afterthought, it's like, that's hot. That's a 40-year-old man hot.
Especially at a wedding where you're like drinking and having fun and like you may remember that moment and how you felt, but he had so many details. Like he was clearly very captivated by her, and this is like a memory burned into his brain.
I would like to know that at a wedding, how does this conversation in particular come up and how deep did we get into it? Because that's crazy.
Alicia,
that's good conversation, but that's wild conversation.
I was like, if one of the weddings I'm going to this summer doesn't bring me a man who can have a nice, like deep but interesting and lighthearted way conversation, like, don't invite me to your wedding.
Not worth it. No. So then reverse question for Ariana. What did you first see in Dan? And Ariana says, first, I saw that he had the nicest smile ever, which he does. And then also in this group setting, Ariana told a couple friend of hers that Dan was hot, but she didn't want to chat because it was too soon after Sandoval. But the girls were talking about this very serious, deep stuff. And the way Dan contributed to the conversation with these women without busting in or overpowering the women, Ariana really enjoyed and liked. And I was like, oh my God, these are like really good answers. And now if I don't feel this way about someone I go on a date with, I don't think it's love. Like, these are good answers.
It just kind of like shows the little things. Maturity. Like you really just need to pay attention to the like nuances of like who you're talking with, and like not just going for someone just because they're hot or like because you can like crack jokes with them. Like, do they pay attention? Do they interrupt you? Like, it's a lot of the little things that they're saying.
I think it's that. Pay attention to how people interact with other people, because that's how they'll probably interact with you at some point. So I loved it. I thought it was cute. Anyway, Ariana tells us that Dan has an amazing perspective on life, and she was drawn to him, and like the conversations they had were incredible, and he listens, and it's almost like he knows her before she tells him stuff. And he makes her smile.
My heart was like the Grinch growing 10 sizes. Like, just hearing her like talk about her relationship. She's clearly so happy. It like he had to be so incredible for her to even take a chance on a relationship that soon after like a horrible incident. I feel like a lot of people pass judgment on her for like moving on so quickly, but like I feel like he's helping, like, I hate to say the word save her, but I feel like he is like making her feel safe, and she really needs that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's helping her heal. And I think that's really beautiful. Okay, James asked Dan if he has chatted to Sandoval yet and what he thinks about the whole situation.
The like giggle James does too.
He knows. He's like, I hit this mark. Yeah. Dan again says he knows what Sandoval has done but he hasn't heard great things. So like he doesn't care. And then Scheana shares, she's like, actually, I talked to Sandoval last night, so I have some insight. And Scheana shares that she basically had Sandoval think about how he weaponized Ariana's mental health throughout the whole scandal. And she says she saw the mask fall again and how he genuinely thought about that. And Katie immediately is like, how many times are we going to believe these, quote, genuine tears? Like, how many times? And Brock says Scheana has a friendship with him, and the group always dismisses that. And Katie says she doesn't believe a damn word, a damn tear, or a damn nothing that comes out of that man's mouth. It was kind of hot.
I'm so confused how Scheana brings up something about Ariana, and then when Katie fights back about Sandoval being a shitty person, now it's about Sheena's feelings. Like, Brock's like, you guys don't care that Scheana has a friendship. When was this about Sheena's friendship with him? She did not talk about a talk they had about his and her friendship. It was about Sandoval weaponizing Ariana's mental health.
I think it was, she was like, hey, I saw the mask fall. He was really genuine about it. And Katie's like, he's not a genuine person, to which Brock was then like, he has been to Scheana, a good friend. And I'm like,
again,
go back a year.
Where's the evidence?
Reverse the tapes. Reverse the tapes.
I feel like I'm living in a different universe where like the things I would consider being a good friend is not what this cast considers being a good friend.
Well, I think Katie says it perfectly. It's not complicated. When a guy fucks your friend, fuck the guy. Or fucks over your friend. Either one, fuck them.
Yep.
And so Schwartz says Schwartz says Sandoval is not a trash person. He just did a trash thing. To which Ariana looks at him dead in the face and goes, watch what table you're at if you want to talk like that. Because he didn't just do one thing.
Schwartz doesn't get what she's saying. Yeah, she says he didn't just do a thing. And he's like, oh, I mean, and he like tries to walk it back, but he's just not understanding. It wasn't one bad thing.
Well, he doesn't want to leave the table. And Ariana's straight up like, if you're going to stick up for him, leave the table. Right now. Like, she doesn't care.
Yeah, but also stop saying he did one bad thing. I'm so over that narrative of like, he made a mistake.
Katie says it perfectly later on, so we will get there. But literally, this man's a trash. So Lala says Ariana is trying to put out this like cool vibe, but she actually cares a lot. And when she stops being mad at Sandoval, Ariana's going to go through a lot of emotion. And I was like,
what?
Who cares? This is an emotion. Her anger is an emotion.
But like, I feel like Ariana has been cool girl in the past, but I don't think she's been the cool girl this summer, like trying to pretend like nothing's happening.
She has cried in front of you. She has broken down. She has been How come when she's angry, it's like, oh, she's not showing emotion. But then the minute she rages, everyone's like, she's so emotional.
You know, it's like what Lindsay said on Summer House. Like if she shows anything but happy, like she says Carl is mad at her. It kind of feels like that. If Ariana isn't like happy and over it and
No,
just
she's like
moved on.
crying. Yeah. Or like showing all her sad emotions so people feel bad for her. Like it's like, oh, you're not really processing it. But my
Yeah.
anchor is a part of processing.
Well, it's like Ariana's not allowed to walk her own path of this journey. It's like whatever Lala is doing, like Ariana needs to show the exact same way or do the exact same thing. Or like wherever Scheana's at in this journey, like Ariana needs to be exactly there. Why can't Ariana just have her own journey?
Well, what they're saying is Ariana has to have the journey for the group's benefit. Like that she needs to forgive for the group. She needs to move on for the group. She needs to do all these things for the group. And it's like, just let her live her fucking life.
And the group won't do anything for Ariana.
No, they'll just criticize the way she's processing her emotions, basically. Yeah. She's not doing it right. She's not doing it in the way that they deem correct.
Yeah, she's like moving on too quickly. It's like she's too angry. She's staying in the house. If she left the house, I bet they would judge her for that. Like, honestly, anything Ariana does, I feel like they would critique.
I agree. Because she's a woman and she's showing not the right emotion. Like, it was the same thing last time. Like, there's no male rage, but the female rage is insane. And it's like, what?
I had the epiphany in my bedroom after talking to my sister if she had watched the finale. She had not. That this show, like way back when it started, like we hated women.
Yeah.
And the way we were transported way back to like 2013 with the like aggression towards Ariana, I was like, what year am I living in? Like, I have not had it so blatantly obvious that we hate women in so long.
Yeah, society hates women. I mean, if you go back to season 1, Laura Lee basically got screwed by Jax. He dumped her outside of an AA meeting. Yeah. And we were like, Laura Lee's crazy.
Yep.
Oh, Stassi gets cheated on, and it's like, Stassi's such a bitch. What? We were like brainwashed. And Vanderpump Rules is still trying to push that narrative. But guess what, baby? This was Summer of Barbie, okay? We don't do that anymore. We're out. We're out on you.
I feel like they had changed a little bit of our editing and our like storytelling in the most recent years, but then we just like put whatever we used to do in like season 1 through 4, and we were just like, you know what, let's just do that recipe again. That was the prime years of Vanderpump. Let's try that again.
It's like, it's so terrible to watch. Anyway, so Katie tells Brock that if Brock tells Brock that Brock has not been there for her lived experiences, so he cannot make a comment on how she feels regarding Sandoval, which I'm like,
shut the fuck up, Brock. You just joined this show. Shut up.
Also, Katie's known Sandoval for minimum 11 years at this point. Longer even. She's known him for at least 15, probably more. She was married to his bestie.
The show started filming 13 years ago. She was
married to his best friend. Mm-hmm. She knows this man. You showed up from Australia 7 days ago. Calm down. Who are you to call who a good friend, you know?
Remember when we were talking about a great quality of Dan was being able to add to the conversation without forcefully putting yourself in everything? Hey, Brock, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. So Brock says he's gonna fight for his wife. And Ariana goes, but Katie's also fighting for your wife because Katie's defending Scheana from the behavior that Sandoval has in the past shown Scheana. And Katie goes, looks at Brock dead in the eye and goes, defend your wife, but not towards me. I'm not the fucking one. And I went, I'm ready to propose. I'm ready to propose to Katie Maloney. Don't even need an ultimatum. She'll never get a ring on the string from me. Immediately, I'm on one knee proposing. It won't even be in a restaurant. It'll be better.
She's a light in the darkness of this episode, of this cast, of this season.
She's so hot. I'm so obsessed with her. So then we go to Joe's hotel room. Schwartz is here so they can eat popcorn chicken. I want to be so clear. I have no clue what they were talking about in this whole conversation. They're so sporadic. And they do like Mickey Mouse voices. Like it's such a strange interaction constantly.
I was like, they are the same person, but like Schwartz is the person and Joe was like the shadow person.
Is that a Vampire Diaries reference?
No. I just mean like Schwartz will say something and then like Joe will like mimic it back and then like that's the
But
joke.
in a
It's
higher
like
tone, and then he does it, and then it is the
it
weirdest
it just
thing.
loops. I feel like
I
it's like Schwartz is talking to a mirror.
I don't care if I get in trouble for saying weird. This conversation, I literally sat there and went, "What?" I went, "What? What are we talking about?" Basically,
I
Schwartz ironed Joe's dress, which I do love when men do household chores. Because I think flipping
mad
gender roles are
respect for
like
her
very
for being
fun. Yeah.
like,
I
yeah,
can't
I don't know how
iron,
to
so
do
you
this,
have to
do
do
it.
it. Yeah, I was in
Me
it.
neither.
But then Schwartz is so rude. He's like, "Are you wearing makeup?" And I guess she never wears makeup. And in an interview, he tells us that her wearing makeup is like when a kid breaks into their mom's makeup. It just doesn't look great. And I went,
That was so sad.
"You're
She looked
so rude."
pretty.
He hates women. This proves my
I
theory. He hates all women. It doesn't matter if you're his shadow person.
I wasn't
It doesn't.
shocked whenever he called it out because she doesn't wear a lot of makeup and like when somebody doesn't wear makeup and then they do, it is a big difference. But like to say that she looks like a kid, so mean, so unnecessary.
I think he was trying to say like she looks beautiful without it. But also just don't comment on women's looks. How about that?
But there's English language words to say she looks beautiful without makeup. He
You
chooses to
watch this.
not use those words.
No, you watch this conversation. You think he knows English? This was crazy. This every time these two are together, I feel dumber. I don't
That's so true.
care.
These two don't know how to speak English to each other.
Yeah, separately, great communicators, I'm sure.
They can
Together,
talk.
I don't know what they're doing. The worst.
Can
Okay,
you imagine
anyway.
being the camera guy filming this and you're like, get me out of here?
No, but I sometimes think about the people that were walking past outside of Sandoval's venue when he was playing and they went outside and watching, being like, "With are these two fighting or are they like in love?" I
Beep
don't
boop
know.
boop.
Beep boop. I'd literally be like, what are they doing out here? Should we call the police? Are they unwell?
It's kind of like the Uber driver from the Tom Sandoval Ariana like March 3rd night or March 1st night. I want to find that person and I want to find the people walking outside that theater from last
Yeah,
episode.
if you witnessed this, let us know. I have so many interview questions for you. Did you not call like a wellness check on them? Immediately, I'm questioning. The worst. Okay, so then we go to Brock and Sheena's room, and Brock surprised Scheana with some rose petals.
Did you see
What?
the caramel apples on the side table?
There were caramel apples? I just saw the
There were
strawberries and
caramel
chocolate.
apples, and I was like, "Stop!" You know, Brock went to that hotel. We saw him go to the like hotel front desk, but he
Mhm.
probably was like, "And do you have like anything like apples related?"
Oh, because her song. I literally, even as you said that, I was like, so I love caramel apples. What's your ish?
I
I
love
get
caramel
it.
apples, but I'm like, Jesus Christ, we're going too hard on this theme.
I just saw the strawberries. So then, per usual, how do we spend our lovely time together? We talk about Sandoval. Scheana says she's happy she told Ariana about what she talked about, and Ariana seemed kind of receptive, she thought. And Brock's like,
Mm-hmm.
did you tell her you made up with Tom Sandoval? And
I was like,
Sheena's
made
like,
out? No.
I know, sorry. Did you tell her you made up with Sandoval? And Sheena's like, we didn't really make up. We just moved like a step forward. Like we aren't best friends. And Brock is like, oh, bummer. And I was like, Sheena is doing so well. Like her husband is corrupting her.
Brock is like pressuring her so hard to like be best friends with Sandoval again.
So this is why Sheena's stressed because her best friend is saying, don't be friends with this shitty ass person. But her husband is like, actually, you should be. So which one loves her more? Probably the best friend. And you know
Yeah.
what? Guaranteed, if we asked Summer Moon, she would say absolutely no to Tom Sandoval. She doesn't give a fuck, you know?
Especially if we told Summer Moon that he blocked her, she'd be like, I'm done with that man.
Oh my God. Put a restraining order out on your mom. Summer Moon might kill him. She might do voodoo and just murder him. But like, rock out.
Good.
Literally. Okay, so then we go to Tom Sandoval's room, which is fucking disgusting. Here's a fun fact about me. I don't care if you're in this hotel room, treat it like your home because the maids honestly deserve better. Okay, I understand you're living here and people clean and like we pay for that luxury and that's fantastic, but it should not be a fucking pigsty. And it looked disgusting. Everything was
No.
thrown everywhere. Anyway, so Schwartz shows up and he's like, "Hey, Sandoval, I met Dan, and he's a great guy, and we had a lot of fun at Chinese food without you." And Sandoval's like, "That's great. Also,
Good
Ariana
God.
has great taste in men, so I figured Dan's a great guy." Haha, jokes. And then
Ew, he's so full of himself.
it was weird. And then Schwartz is like, "Oh, by the way, like there was Brock and Scheana drama of your combo," and we don't go really into it. But then Scheana FaceTimes Lala. Or no, Lisa. And I was like, ew, what's Lisa doing here? Who is my public enemy number one almost? Like, this woman sucks. But Sheena tells Lisa she had a good conversation with Sandoval. And Lisa's like, oh, you guys have so much history together. And she's like, Sheena, do you still love him? And Sheena's like, yeah. And Lisa goes, there's your answer. I was like, answer?
Gross.
Fuck you. Go literally back to your horses. No one needs you on this show.
Thank God.
You're too old.
That is all we got from her on this episode, because if I would have seen another minute of that woman, I would have probably thrown my remote at the TV. Like, I'm
fighting her
so
too.
done with Lisa Vanderpump, with production, Andy Cohen, everybody like is on my shit list.
Lauren from Utah.
Yep.
Listen up.
Yep.
I've called out Lauren from Utah on this podcast before. I'm happy to fucking go head to head. And you know what? This now goes out to Lisa Vanderpump. You're a bitch. Come at me and let's do this. Let's do this for real. You're an idiot. You're the worst. I'm glad you're off Beverly Hills.
I mean, I feel like we haven't ever been so blatantly obvious about like trying to put a woman down.
Where your loyalties lie. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like you're on the wrong side of history and it's sad. Yeah. Get out.
You are on the wrong side of history.
Grow up, like support a woman once in a while.
Just once in a while.
Maybe
up. The one who is like nationally beloved.
Star.
Like, that's the thing. Can you imagine if you're not supporting the person the entire United States is supporting, you're not going to support like the random woman down the street.
Also, didn't Ariana win Best Reality TV Star for this show?
Alicia, she said that on the after show.
I know, I saw the clip. Bitch, who did you think you should support?
And that was all happening when they were filming and when they were editing this.
Like, what? You had plenty of time to pick a side, and you still picked the wrong side. Get out. Get out.
What did they think was going to happen is my question. Like, the delusion.
You know what? Men don't run this world anymore. Grow up. Get over it. Fuck you. I'm over it.
Men have caused every world war we've ever been in, and we expect them to produce a good reality TV show with a woman as the hero? Ha!
Literally.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
My favorite thing people say when they're like, women can't be president, it's like, oh, because she'll be PMSing and then she'll start a war. And I'm like, name one war women have started. One. There aren't any. The answer is none.
Yeah, it's insane.
So then we go to Katie and Lala and they talk. And Lala says that Scheana's under a lot of pressure because she wants Ariana's approval.
My God.
I
was
know.
like, Scheana's under pressure? Oh, poor Scheana. God forbid Scheana has any pressure on her. But you know what? Let's take that pressure off by just putting it all on Ariana.
Also, if I was Scheana, I'd be like, Lala, keep my name out of your mouth. Lala's perpetuating this narrative that it's all about Scheana. She's the one that's like, we need to think more about Scheana. Shut up. Scheana was doing so well this episode. Shut up.
Scheana is sitting there. I actually kind of feel bad for Scheana because she's sitting there with Lala, Brock, and her mom, roasting her to be like friends with Sandoval, telling her all the mean comments on social media, like all this stuff. And Sheena's just sitting there like, I don't know what to do. Like, I would crack under the pressure if I was Scheana. I kind of feel bad for her.
if Scheana wasn't married to Brock and didn't have Lala in her ear, I think Scheana would gladly just be friends with Ariana. But everyone, and then imagine also Lisa Vanderpump just like, oh, you should be friends with him. He's depressed. We can't have him like do something crazy, so you have to be best
There's the
friends with
fourth
him.
one.
So like,
I feel like Scheana will always be the person who is polite to people, which I don't mind. You can be like, say hi to him when he shows up to a place. Like, I'm good with that. But like, we don't need all these hugs and thank yous and I love yous.
I think Scheana, and we'll talk about this later, at the party handled herself well. I think she handled herself well at the 20s night that they just had. She very much stuck up for Ariana, but still was able to be like communicative with Sandoval and like come from a place of understanding.
Outside of the like, I love you when they hugged.
Yeah, that was weird. But yeah, I think overall Sheena's doing okay. It's these other people that are like, forgive him already. It's basically they're doing the same thing to Scheana that they're doing to Ariana, but Scheana just cracks because she's like, I don't know
like
what
when
to do.
Scheana starts the conversations, she does really well. Whenever other people like start the conversation and like Scheana has to chime in on it, that's where she like wavers.
Yeah, she just loses it. So Katie says to Lala that Ariana's not going to support the friendship if you're friends with Sandoval. That's just the boundary. And Lala says Sheena's
this has been said all season too. Like, why are we shocked?
I know. So Lala says Scheana is looking for Ariana to acknowledge that Scheana and Sandoval have a good friendship, and no matter what, Scheana and Ariana won't change. And Katie's like, that's not realistic, though. And then
if we were like even in a good place, why would a friend say that? Like, even if I left my relationship, Alicia, and I like left on good terms, I would never utter those words. That is just unnatural to be like, hey, Alicia, I really want to pull you aside and say, hey, if you want to be best friends with my ex, like, we'll be totally cool. Don't you worry about it.
Well, that's why Katie's literally like, that's just not going to happen. Like, I don't even have a rebuttal because that's ridiculous. So Lala says that's the pressure that Sheena's under because she has to live her life for someone who's thriving but has rules for everyone. And Katie's like, there aren't any rules. No. And then Katie explains to us, like, Scheana feels like she should be the exception to the boundary. And Ariana has said clearly she doesn't want mutual friends with Tom Sandoval. But here's the thing, Sandoval didn't make one mistake. He made choices every day over and over for months, and he has only doubled down on those choices.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. It's not a cheating thing. That's why this scandal is different than any other cheating scandal we have seen. Sure, he made a mistake, let's say with Ariana, kissing her at the Golden Nugget while dating Kristen. As far as we knew, it was a one-time thing, and that was it. And sure, that was a choice, but he didn't like keep doing it, you know? This was malicious. He knew what he was doing.
Yes. Okay. But like for argument's sake, let's just say the Ariana and the Raquel, the actual affair was the same. The aftermath is what is like continues to make it worse, you know, like when this season premiered, he literally went on Nick Viall's podcast and continued to put Ariana down at every step of the way. On Watch What Happens Live after this, he continued to put Ariana down.
I mean, we've seen it this whole season. He's like, oh, I want to apologize to Ariana, but she won't talk to me. And then they fight at the beach.
Yeah.
Because he can't shut the fuck up and not be rude. Like, he continuously pushes this narrative that he's the victim. He's trying to apologize, but that's not the fucking reality. You don't understand what you've done wrong. And until that happens, your apology means nothing. And your mistake is actually malicious. You're supporting the choice mistake, whatever you want to call it, over and over and over again. To this day, you are supporting it. Like, that's crazy.
That's the thing is like, you have to apologize for the affair, for weaponizing her mental health. And then every day that passes, you do something more to hurt her that adds to the list of what you need to apologize. So instead of just pausing, stopping like whatever you're doing and like giving a genuine apology and understanding what's actually going on, like that could potentially redeem you. But you do the complete opposite and do more and double down and like throw more gasoline on the fire, and then you're mad that the audience won't like simmer down. How about you simmer down first, sir?
Literally, this man is so infuriating, and everyone who believes him also. Anyway, so Katie says Scheana can
Gross.
be friends with Sandoval, and when he screws her over, no one's gonna care. How about that?
I actually will rue the day. I can't wait.
Well, I almost don't rue it for Scheana at this point because Scheana has not come in at this conversation. I hope Lala gets so screwed by this man. I hope this man not only supports a restraining order against her, but like tarnishes her name constantly. I hope he is the thorn in her side for the rest of her life. That is what I wish
I
for her.
hope, like, I don't even want to bring my hope that I just dreamed up in my mind is a little too far, but I hope that like Sandoval and Randall become like best friends. Get me Randall back on this show. I've never wanted to see that man more in my life.
Give me the tea on this bitch, you know? Anyway, so we got to
Yeah,
keep going because we've really honed down
I
on
know.
maybe the
We
first
barely
10
cracked
minutes.
the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Sandoval and Schwartz, we cut to them talking. Sandoval says his conversation with Scheana went really well, and Scheana told him to consider apologizing for the mental health stuff he did to Ariana, and he thinks that's something he could do for sure. So
Oh wow.
he thinks he could apologize. And Schwartz is like, deep down, that might mean something to her. So, like, you should apologize. And Sandoval says he's not trying to be her friend, but he wants the tension to subside. And I went, you know, that the tension, like, she knows the tension makes you uncomfortable. She's not going to she's not going to do anything to make the tension go away.
But
She wants
Sandoval
you
acts like
gone.
she's the only one who's making it weird. Every time that they have been together, he chooses to confront her and makes it weird.
When he could just like do it in a different situation where it's not in public in front of a bunch of people, confronting her and
Or
yelling at her and
just
then being
do
like,
nothing.
sorry.
Do
Yeah.
nothing, and your friends will stop feeling tension. Stop antagonizing her. It's really not that
Stop
complicated.
talking about her. Like, it's very
Mm-hmm.
easy. So Schwartz reminds Sandoval, as a grown man, please don't get defensive when you're apologizing. And Sandoval's like, oh my God, I would never do that. I'm like,
I
isn't it crazy when someone's apologizing, you have to remind them not to get defensive? When you apologize, you're giving up your defenses. You're owning your shit, you know?
But then his delusional self is like, no, 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 I would never. As if we've never seen every apology he's ever given in his entire life.
That's crazy. What are you talking about? I've never been defensive
I
in my
don't do
life.
that.
Defensive? Crazy. So Sandoval says he wants Ariana to know that no matter what, in any
Uh,
capacity of the future, she can call him and he will be there for her. Play
I
the
just,
Friends theme song, you know?
I really wish I had seen this episode last week so I could have flown to St. Louis where my dad told me he was and I could have drop kicked Sandoval. I would
Beat
have
the
willingly gone
shit
to
out of
prison.
him.
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of him. For that comment, why would she call you about anything? Like, what?
Why
What
do you
world do you
feel the
live in?
need to be in Ariana's narrative after you fucked up her whole life?
He's also sitting here like, see everyone, I'm the good guy. She can call me no matter what. Who would call their ex if they have a problem?
No,
I'm not calling you.
no. Like, understand if you're like, hey, I wish her well, I want her to be happy. That's a kind of
Great.
thing to say. But, like, get out of here with that. Why are we calling you for help?
Also, why would she call you about anything when her grandma and dog died? You were having an affair.
You were literally so useless when she needed you most, when she was in such a terrible mental state.
When you
You
were
were not there for her.
when you were the first person she would call. Now you're the last person. Why do you think she would ever call you? She would rather call Randall than call you. Let's make that so clear. Lala, anyone. Probably
She
Jax
would rather
Taylor.
call Rachel than
Yeah.
Sandoval, I bet.
Yeah, Jax Taylor made all of them. Anyone who's ever been on
Yeah.
this show. Laura Lee, way above you. Like, what the fuck?
I
He needs so much therapy.
but this kind of goes to show in his mind, like the validation he's getting of like probably this redemption arc that it's like, oh my God, we'll be cool in a little bit. Like she could call me for help. Like we'll become friendly again. Like I'll be there for her.
He
In
needs
what
so
world?
much therapy, so much. Anyway, so we go to Kyle Chan's whiskey launch party. So Scheana shows up, good as gold, dressed to good as gold, because she needs to meet Sandoval's sound guy that Sandoval paid for to come fly out for this show. This small 4x4 foot stage that Scheana's performing on. We need a sound dude.
Did you happen to watch the after show in full?
No, it wasn't up when I tried to watch.
No, it's okay. Morning. James was like, a sound guy. You mean a guy who just like plugged in a speaker and like plugged it into the wall?
Press
like
play on your laptop.
Yeah. Like,
James could have been the sound guy.
We're not working the Taylor Swift show where we're like setting up the entire SoFi sound system. Like
she didn't play two songs. She's
this
not
is a
blow
4x4 stage. Like, come on.
There's two speakers, and I bet if you interviewed the people in the back, they couldn't hear a fucking thing. Okay, so like,
I bet I could YouTube and figure this all out.
Like, calm down. So Scheana says, like, this is the person she remembers, someone who would do so much stuff for you, like fly out this penny rate sound guy to your show. This is also a really niche thing that friends would do for each other. Okay. I don't know a sound guy, and Meredith's not a performer. It's not like,
it's his expertise. Like, why does Ariana held to the benchmark of what Sandoval is good at?
Also, Sandoval could have just been the sound he could have figured that shit out.
No, he is not that smart. Let's be honest. And he needs something so performative of flying somebody out. He is so transactional. And I honestly think this is like an LA thing too. And like in the entertainment industry, because my cousin's friends talk about this all the time. Where like people are always willing to like help you out, quote unquote. And it's like they'll do these big flashy things for you because they want something from you.
Well, they want to hold it over. And then when they do something shitty and you don't want to be friends with them anymore, they go, oh, but remember about the time I did this and that. And I bought batteries for you. And I flew out my sound guy. And there's
Sandoval only shows up when it's convenient for him.
Which is always, because he's not doing anything else. That's why he's always fucking around.
No, but if you really needed like someone to talk to and actually be there for you, you think Sandoval's going to sit there and listen to you?
No. Like, no. Yeah, he's showing up for this shit. He's transactional. And also it's hilarious because he flew out a sound guy when he has supposedly $0 in his bank account. So I guess the special forces check cleared and that's how he spent it, you know?
That's the thing. He like, oh, woe is me, I have no money. How about we stop flying people to fucking San Francisco?
For Scheana's 2-song show, okay?
Gross.
Calm down. So, but then Scheana, this is where Scheana really started to piss me off. She's, did the whole like, this is the Sandoval. I remember like the friend who does stuff like so much for you. And then she picks up her little Starbucks and she goes, but that's just me making it about myself, and takes a sip. And I went, I'll fight her. I'll fight her. Scheana Shay, I've been a stan since day one. I will fight you for that comment.
What's insane is that tells me that little interview was done after the season started. And you know what? She looked at those comments and said, they're wrong. Let me double down on my bullshit.
Here's the thing. She could have made a comment about it being funny, but she chose to be a bitch about it, and that's what I don't like. And I'll fucking fight about that. Because I make the jokes all the time sticking up for Scheana, going like, Scheana's making it about herself. Everyone please think for Scheana.
It gives her that same energy where she called Ariana a backup dancer. Like, get the fuck off my screen now.
I'll fight. Okay, so then Scheana does her shitty little sound check. I'm pissed now. And this is the first time she's not performing solo, because she's usually a solo act. Also on a bar and with some tequila shots.
I love that performance. I was pissed at seeing it because I'm already starting to hate Scheana by this point in the episode. And I was like, get the fuck off my screen. You don't deserve to sing good as gold.
Did you see they showed Che jamming? And I went, what a throwback.
Alicia?
That was the clip? Yes. That was the clip that Bravo was like, we got to include Scheana Shay's ex-boy.
She has played that song so many times on this show, and that's the clip they showed. And those little high heel tennis shoe things.
Yeah, that they used to sell at Nordstrom. Yeah, the wedges that were tennis shoes. It's so weird. Everyone started showing up. The whole group is here, let's just say. James, he's being very cute with Allie. They go see the sunset. They talk about how this was a very fun weekend, but they miss their pets. And James says he knows that he has made Hippie a big priority, but he wants Allie to know that she's his priority and the love of his life. And his heart explodes every day that he gets to wake up next to her. And he would do anything to make her happy. If your man's not telling you this, dump him. Immediately dumped. So many people broke up.
This feels so genuine to me. Like, I love them so much. So many people rag on Allie for, like, just being with James for, like, fame. But I'm like, I actually believe that they love each other.
For the D-list.
Let me have this one thing.
Oh, yeah, she's totally using him for all his fame. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's famous, but also the normal jabroni on the street doesn't know who the white Kanye James Kennedy is, you know? Like, no, not every normie is going to know that. Yeah.
Why do I want to go to, like, the next public event in Chicago and print out a picture of James and be like, do you know who this is?
Do you know, I'm looking for this man. Have you seen him? And only the real ones would be like, that's James Kennedy. What are you talking about? Is he here?
That's so true.
So Allie then responds and says she's not yet ready for marriage, but when she is, she wants it to be with James. And this is where his heart exploded and my heart exploded. And James tells us that, of course, he had this big timeline, like we all do as children, not necessarily in our adult life, but where he's like, I thought I would get married at 24 and then like have kids at 28 and all this stuff. And he was like, he really wanted to do all that, but he wouldn't change anything about his life because he loves where he is right now and he loves Allie more than anything. And a younger James Kennedy should know that he's going to go through a lot of shit before he finds someone that truly makes him happy. And I went, oh.
This is so relatable. Like, I feel like everything else this season hasn't really been relatable. They're kind of like, they've been on the show for so long and they're just not normal people anymore. But I felt this in my bones. I was like, you're right, James. We're going to figure it out together.
I was like, our timelines are okay. Don't worry about your timeline. We got this.
We're going to figure it out.
In case you didn't know, I've also been a James Kennedy stan from day one. So I'm glad one of my stans really worked out. So shout out me.
He's keeping me happy and all this depressing other shit.
It was, you know what? It was bleak with James Kennedy for a little bit, but we made it through. In the end, I win.
Hey, at least when it was bleak, it was still funny. The bleakness we're getting these days is depressing.
Yeah, at least it was funny. Okay, so guess who's here? It's Jo. That's who. And she says she loves Schwartz because they make a really good team and she would love to be together, but she's not willing to lose him. So at this point, she'd rather have him as a friend than not have him at all. And I went, Jo, that's kind of my heart. Anyway, so Schwartz is like, hey, Jo, come hang out in the group. And Joe's like, I don't really want to because I don't really like negative energy. And he goes, what are you talking about negative energy? And she goes, you know. And he goes, oh, Katie. And I went, I'm going to fight again. Like, I'm fighting. I mean, I know Katie has the tendency.
I'm sorry.
For years, everyone was like, Katie's very negative and has negative energy. But I think she just doesn't fucking like you. How about that? You know?
That's the thing. She just doesn't need to be friends with she's the anti-Scheana, and that is okay. She does not need to be friends with everybody.
So Jo really wants her one-sided feud with Katie to be over. And she thinks that maybe if she says sorry to Katie, then Katie will say sorry back. And I went, that's not the way to go into manipulative conversation. Yeah. So
gross.
Jo joins the group, joins right where Katie is. You know, there's a ton of people in this group. They go right to Katie and Lala. Hey, it's me. It's me, Jo. And Schwartz goes, you guys know Jo, right? And Lala goes, of course I know Jo. I got hot dogs with this bitch. Like, what are you talking about?
Like, so Schwartz does not ever help her in any social setting ever. Hey. I feel bad for her. Only when it relates to how Schwartz treats her. Like, hey, I'm like, Schwartz, you guys know her, right?
You know her.
He's like, hey, I already know this is going to go bad. Let me make it worse.
Yeah, and then I'm going to have her sit by you. I'm not even going to be the middle buffer. And she's straight to the lion's den. So, Katie, so the camera pans out, and I catch Katie glaring at Schwartz.
She's like,
death stare. Fuck? And he's like, hey, Joe, did you want to say something? The floor is yours. And so, the fuck? So Joe says, sorry to Katie if she ever hurt her. And Katie goes, if? How about you just say sorry? And Joe's like, oh, you're right. Okay, just sorry. And Katie goes, you know what? Yeah, it's weird. You're weird. And Lala goes, Katie, stop it. We're not gonna do that. And then Joe goes,
shut the fuck up, Lauren from Utah. No one
Joe
asked you.
Joe goes, well, don't you think you owe me an apology? And Katie goes, no. And Joe's like, okay. Joe goes into fighting mode. And she goes, you know what,
sorry.
Katie?
In what world would somebody saying, don't you owe me an apology, get them to be like, oh my God, you're right. I'm so sorry. Yeah, like, let me pull out my apology that I prepared now that you've asked for one.
Listen, if I was going to apologize to you, I would have already. If I haven't, for anyone who's listening, if I haven't apologized to you, it's on purpose. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I got it.
And if you ask me for an apology and I give one, it means less.
It means nothing. No, actually, I hate you more.
Yeah, so, I don't want your apology.
Joe goes, but Katie, I sent you this genuine text about the divorce. Hashtag Bieber loves you. And Katie goes,
I did not need that.
Katie goes, and then you moved in with my ex. And Lala clarifies, she looks at Joe, she goes, the way you moved was weird. Like, you moved in with Schwartz and you had sex with Schwartz, but you were like texting Katie. That's weird. And Katie's like,
I was like, oh, that's weird. Lauren, you understand the logic behind messy situations. I didn't realize that you realized that lately.
Thanks so much, Lauren from Utah. So then Joe goes, I wish I just had the space to explain myself. And Katie goes, I feel like you always had a thing for Schwartz and you were just waiting for your moment. Mm-hmm. And also, I would just like to mention this whole time, Ariana has eyes on Katie, just in case. She's telling Dan, she's like, listen, Joe's not it. We're watching.
Like, something weird's going over there.
We're here in case we need to run up on this situation.
Dan's like, who's Joe? And Ariana's like, way too long to explain.
She's like, not important. But if we need to run up on this conversation, we're running the fuck up and we're gonna fucking fight. So be ready. She's like, you've been in fights before.
We're on Katie's side always.
Always. So, Katie's mad, but Joe says that, okay, so Katie's like mad at Joe for whatever, all this shit, because Joe's shady. Mm-hmm. And Joe's like, but Katie, why are you mad at me? Because we were never friends, so it doesn't matter if I fucked your ex. I go, then why do you want Katie to forgive you? If you're not friends, why do you fucking care if Katie hates you or not?
Why are you here?
Also, why are you texting her?
Also, if you're not sorry for what you did, listen, I wouldn't have a major problem with Joe if she was just like, listen, we're not friends. I was interested in him and I went after him. Let it be. Stop attacking me on social media. That would make sense to me.
But now she's like, you should give me an apology even though we're not friends. And I texted you while I was moving in with your ex, but we're not friends, so you shouldn't be mad? Then leave me alone. What are you doing? It made no sense.
Also, on social media, Joe is like doing all the stuff that she was mad at Katie for doing, like talking shit about Schwartz's new girlfriend and like saying mean comments about Katie on her lives. And it's like, again, you're being so hypocritical. Like, why are you going and doing these things and then crying about it on Vanderpump?
Look, this is mean. But there's gotta be just like a screw loose. What is she doing going on live talking shit about Katie and Schwartz's girl? Like, just shut the fuck up. You don't even have a big enough platform to like have supporters as you're talking shit. Like, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Again, you know what, Joe? You want to go head to head? Get on this podcast. I'll take you on. We got it. Another one. Lauren from Utah, Lisa, Joe.
Add another one to the list.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I'll challenge
we're ready
immediately.
To fight.
So Katie's mad now. She's basically like, don't fucking do it. If you're going to text me, don't fucking do it. Like, don't stay with my ex. Find someone else to stay with. And Joe tells Katie to let him go. And Katie calls Joe a fucking liar. And now Joe's trying not to cry. And Lala's going, hold it in, you're fine. And I'm like, let her fucking cry.
Ugh.
And so Katie looks at Joe and quotes what happened to her like, hey, before you think this is weird, I'm going to stay with your ex-husband who you're not divorced yet from, who you're probably untangling from still, or you're untangling your fucking life from. And it's probably a difficult time, but just FYI, Bieber loves you, you know? Joe says she wasn't thinking of Katie, and Katie says, as a woman, you could have thought of me. And then
But here's the thing, again, you don't have to think of me, but then don't try to now think of me.
Don't be friends with me. Don't want me to then like you.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking of me, I don't have to think of you. How about that?
Don't text me when I announce my divorce. Don't think of me then. Don't think about me ever. Be consistent.
Don't ask for an apology from me. That's weird.
Gross.
You're thinking of me now enough to ask for that. That's strange.
Mm-hmm.
So Schwartz says Joe is just here to make peace. And Katie says she doesn't want peace.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that so much. We don't want peace.
We don't need peace. Okay. Let us live in our anger. So Schwartz talks to Katie and says Joe just wanted to say how she feels. And Katie says Joe's feelings are none of her business. And because Katie's feelings weren't Joe's business when she was fucking slinking around Schwartz's apartment.
This whole scene pissed me
beyond belief. But then Katie looks at Schwartz and goes, do you want to be my friend? And he says, yeah. And she goes, then keep her away from me. And Schwartz says,
here's the thing.
What?
Go ahead with the Schwartz thing.
Oh, well, Schwartz just says, I don't like ultimatums. And Katie says, just keep her away from me. Like, she's not asking you to do anything.
It wasn't an ultimatum.
If you want to, it's the same boundary Ariana is setting up. If you want to be friends with me, keep her away from me. I'm not asking you to do anything outside of your capacity that you're not. You are making an effort to bring this bitch around me. Stop doing that.
Yes. This was so blatantly obvious of like a male walking up to antagonize a woman on the show and then being mad when the woman has a reaction. Like, what?
You're putting me in this situation. Also, an ultimatum is I'm telling you to do something or else. She's literally saying, stop doing things to me. Done. Bye.
To me.
Stop. Yeah, this is my space. This is my time. If I don't have to spend it with anyone, I don't want to. Oh my God, I could fight Schwartz too. Add him to the list.
And we were operating so fine at this event. Schwartz never needed to bring Joe up to Katie. Listen, I get it. It's a show. So like for the show's sake, yeah, kind of. But in the rest of our world and time, it never needs to happen.
Like, it is just add Schwartz to my list. I could fucking obliterate him. He drives me off a wall. He hates women. I do not care. I do not care how many shows he does or how many redemption arcs he goes on. He may not be as trash of a person, but he hates women and he will always hate women.
I know.
Period. Done.
It made me sad because I felt like we were getting to a place where like Schwartz and Katie could be like, friends, and like we were going to like cross the rainbow to the happier side of like their long-term like relationship in the new stage of it. And it's like, this made it very obvious that we will never have Schwartz ever caring about Katie.
He still chooses another woman over Katie. Yet again, he dismisses Katie's feelings. Over Katie. And he does not care about how Katie feels about a situation, and he does not respect her boundaries. Yet again. Nope. This man is so garbage. I swear to God. Okay, so Scheana.
And what's sad is this was like minuscule compared to the rest of the episode.
I know, and it's enraging me because how dare you screw over Katie? How dare you? How dare you need an ultimatum to propose to this lovely woman? I'm begging her to let me propose to her. Oh my God. Anyway, so then Scheana breaks her dress. Nothing really important here except she's like, Brock, go get my jacket. And he comes back with a jacket that's not hers. Whose jacket did you swipe?
This also kind of makes sense because I was wondering later why she was in her, because this was not in the main episode. This was just like the Peacock exclusive. This made more sense because I was wondering why she was in her ugly ass performing dress later. Like all through the rest of the night, I was like, this is the most hideous thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about it.
On it.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
And it's probably because her actual dress is broken.
Oh my God, it's terrible. Also, Brock has this ugly ass good as gold suit too that he's like jamming in.
Okay.
Terrible.
Him dancing was actually so funny. Like, that's all I
It
need.
was
Don't
so
speak,
funny.
just do weird things.
Because it was just like embarrassing. Like I'd be so embarrassed if this was me,
Yeah.
but it was so funny.
He was like
So then,
caught. Like, the camera just happened to catch him.
yeah, it was great. So then Sandoval, Scheana, Lala, and Kyle talk. They talk about how great. Oh yeah, Kyle. Who's Kyle? You might ask. Kyle Chan, the guys who's were at his whiskey business thing. I don't know. So they talk about Chinatown, and then Brock comes over, and then Lala leaves, and then Sandoval tells Brock he appreciates Brock standing up for him and in Chinatown. And Brock says, "Yeah, well, Brock is friends with both him and Ariana, so they're not going to pick a side." And Brock says, "What we need to see from Sandoval is him being here for his friends." And Sandoval's like, "I could totally do that." And then Scheana says she understands what Sandoval did to Ariana was wrong, but she wishes that Ariana could see that it's not black and white for Scheana. And Scheana is really struggling being loyal to her. So if we could all take a moment,
Let
just
me
one,
let
to
me
think about
paraphrase
Scheana.
that.
Yeah.
What Scheana should have said is, and basically what she did say in just less words is, I understand what he did to Ariana was terrible, but I just don't care, and I just want us all to get over it so I can be friends with Sandoval.
Also, I don't care about what he did to me with a restraining order. That's fine. Forgiven.
Very true, and like
Totally
screaming in
fine.
my face a week ago.
Already forgotten. What are you talking about? Amnesia, baby. Nothing.
That never happened.
So, Schwartz, we learn, really loves Dan. He's obsessed with this new man. And so he's talking to Ariana and Dan because he loves them. And they're talking about Applebee's because I think Applebee's is a sponsor. Because if you didn't know, they have a new espresso martini with tequila that Vanderpump Rules is now.
That's not true. It's Chili's.
Oh, that's Chili's. Oh no, what have I done? I put two classics against each other. You know what? Either way, though, I don't really eat it either. But if I had to pick one, it would be Applebee's.
I will tell you the happier ending did happen because Ariana did go to Applebee's. I hope you know.
Listen, Applebee's, when you're there, your family, it's the best. I love Applebee's. That was like,
I will follow Ariana anywhere, especially to Applebee's.
I was already at Applebee's. So the fact that Ariana's coming, dream come true. I've been to Chili's once. I want that known, and I've never been back. I've been to Applebee's a minimum of 500 times in my life. So it was a Friday night thing in my family sometimes if we got lucky to go out. So we were going to Applebee's. Anyway, so they're talking about Applebee's. And then Sandoval comes over, and I literally went, "Oh no, like, oh, this is a bad idea." And then immediately Ariana's the same. She's like, "Oh my fucking God, no." So she immediately goes onto her phone, and Dan's also looking at her phone with her. And Sandoval just talks to Schwartz. It's like, "Hey man, how are you?" And then like awkwardly tries to step over Schwartz, and Schwartz is like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just like going over here by Ariana and Dan." Yeah.
Introduce myself.
And Schwartz immediately is like, "Oh no, but okay." And then Sandoval introduces himself to Dan, and he says that he's heard Dan's a great guy and wishes them both luck. And Dan goes, "Appreciate it." And conversation's over. Because Sandoval has been fucking dismissed by this tall, hot man. What?
Did you notice that Sandoval like reached his hand out to like shake Dan's hand, and then like Dan did not come back, and like he had to like pull his hand back? I was like,
that's hot.
We're not shaking hands here.
Dan's hot. Like that's hot to do to someone. That takes confidence. Something Katie would do. And I would just like to say, Ariana has picked great people to associate with because I'm into both of them. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. So anyway, Ariana like looks at Dan kind of after, and Dan's like, "Whatever, like who cares?" He's unbothered, an unbothered king. And he does look at Ariana though, and he's like, "You weren't really paying attention." And she's like, "I was texting Logan because he's at Beyonce." And I was like, "More important." Way more important. 100%. So then Allie, what she said, oh, she's now sitting with Ariana and Dan, and she's like, "I feel like that had to happen." And Ariana's like, "Actually, it didn't have to happen because Sandoval's not in my life." And Allie goes, "You're totally right." She's like, "Yeah, I get it." Like Allie doesn't know what beat she's like, "Whose side are we even on?"
was trying to make sense of that, but like you're so right. Like actually, why would your ex-boyfriend who you do not speak to need to introduce himself to your new
So,
boyfriend? That
you
doesn't
know,
make any sense. You're right, you're right.
you know how James is like super supportive of Ariana, but also like trying to rebuild a friendship with Sandoval? I think Allie just doesn't know what they're doing. So she's like, James didn't prep me for whose side we're on. I just don't know. Okay,
Well, I
but
think she
Ariana,
naturally leans towards Team Ariana, but like she's like, I understand that we have to do things with Sandoval.
the producers are like, say that had to happen. So Allie says verbatim, and then she's like, never, you were right. That was bad intel. My bad.
She's like, why did I do that?
I love the idea that Allie has zero clues what to say. Like, she's just like, I'm just here. I'm just trying to live.
Well, I feel like her natural instincts are to be on like the girl side and like be on
Yeah,
Team
of course.
Ariana, but then it's like this misogynistic show is like pushing her
The
to be on like
producers.
Sandoval's team.
Yeah, well, we see Brock play into it, but Allie's just like, I'm confused now. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Ariana tells us, she says she's not in for this Sandoval redemption arc, so do it without her. And I went, yeah, but we're not doing it. The audience isn't in it either,
The
girl. We
way
got
she
you.
says, no, but the way she says you can do it without me is like in
Do it
her
without
interview
me.
chair, and I'm like, she's literally talking to that producer sitting in front of her. You
She
can do
knows.
it without me.
Do it without me.
Mm-hmm.
So then Schwartz and Sandoval talk, and Schwartz tells Sandoval, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not a good time to talk to Ariana. Just my advice. But do what you want to do. And Sandoval's like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And I went, bet he's going to talk to Ariana. Even after his best friend is even like, maybe don't.
It's crazy to me that like Schwartz can see that this is so fucked up, and it's wild to me. Out of all the cast, obviously not including the Wolf Pack because they're on the right side of history,
My
Schwartz
babies,
is
yeah.
the middle line. How is Schwartz the person who has most reason next to the Wolf Pack?
Yeah, I don't know because he's on my fighting list, so all I see is red when he speaks. I mean, Sandoval's obviously on there, but you can't ration with crazy, so I'm not gonna like fight him because it would go nowhere. But the rest of them on my fighting list, you know, it's just red. So anyway, in positive news, James is DJing the James Kennedy Experience, if you will.
I was so mad on the main episode. We did not really get to see that. I saw him in the background once and I was like, wait, James is DJing right now? We really left that out. And then thank God the extended version gave us more.
Thank God. So there's this was absolutely hilarious. I know it ended badly, but it was so funny. There's this random stranger in like their area in the VIP. And he's just like dancing and he like takes their alcohol. So funny. And he's like showing them and they're like, yeah, just get out of here. But then he tries to like feed it. He's like, Katie, come take a shot.
Like,
and
no.
Katie's like, no. But it was so funny. This like drunk, I don't know why I found it so hilarious, but they're all like, who is this guy? And he's just jacking all their shit. And then he sits in the seat and everyone's like, Brock, get this guy out of here. So Brock goes over and he's like, hey, like you're sitting in my seat, get out. So this guy's like, yeah, no problem. So he leaves the area, which was mistake number one. Once you've made it in the area, my guy, don't leave, you know? But he leaves and then he tries to come back in, but security is like, absolutely not. So he starts fighting security and he like throws a drink at them, tries to throw a chair.
It was like a vase straight at the bodyguard. Like it crashed on the bodyguard and the bodyguard kept moving. And I was like, damn, this one's a good one.
It was hot, but you know, the bodyguard kept moving. This guy's trying to pick up a chair. He's throwing drinks. Sandoval's involved. He's like, who is this guy? We got to get him out.
Has to come in and make himself part of the drama.
Honestly, it was absolutely hilarious. This guy gets removed, but I was cracking up the whole time. Sandoval's like, I'm okay. We needed to get him out of here.
I'm glad they put it in the extended cut because this did not make the real episode because this was such a thing. Well, yeah, because it had nothing to do with the story. I think they would have left this all out had TikTok not blown up about this when this was actually recording. Like, I remember seeing every point of view of this being like, damn, who's this guy? Same. And then to find out it's a random, I was like, all right.
This was very funny. Obviously it was scary once he started fighting, but like Watching him jack their champagne cracked me. I was like, dude, grab it and go. Free alcohol. You know what I mean? He just wasn't thinking well enough. Anyway, so then we cut to Scheana's performing outfit, which you've mentioned is terrible. And I also have a note to say it is the most terrible, disgusting outfit I've ever seen in my whole life. And that's not even because Scheana's on my fighting list.
The bodysuit isn't terrible. It was the like cake topper belt cape thing. It makes it all even bad. Worse. The gold gloves that don't fit her.
It literally was so bad. Who did this to her? Fired immediately. So she gets introduced on this, like I said, 4x4 stage that she's performing on as Scheana Marie. And I would just like to say she'll always be Scheana Shea to me. Can't change history.
Same.
You know? So she plays Apples, which I don't know why it was only like she's playing Good as Gold. I forgot Apples existed, even though it's my like number 73rd most listened to song recently. But it was fine. What'd you think? It was your first time listening, right?
Yeah, that was my first time. I liked the portion we got, and it made me actually more sad because I saw the girls dancing and having fun, and I was like, we could have had the Spice Girls. Like that this moment reminded me that we could have really had a fun girl summer, and the producers and these terrible people on this show ruined all of that.
Agreed. But on a positive note, I suggest everyone listens to Apples once. It's truly a banger. Listen the whole way through. It tells the whole story of Scandival. Truly a masterpiece. There is nothing to the imagination. You know who it's about. So Sandoval loves it though. He's jamming to Apples, probably because he believes no press is bad press kind of thing. But he claims it's because he's very supportive of Scheana.
Well, he's like, hey, I flew out a sound guy and now Scheana's going to be my best friend again. Like, yeah, I'm winning. That's what he's thinking in that moment.
So then she does Good as Gold, but she does the Screamo version, which I would just like two thoughts on this. One, Scheana's not a Screamo girl. Give it up. Go back to pop. Like,
no, it's so funny watching her try.
Yeah, when she like screams into the mic, it's very uncomfortable for all of us. But okay, question. Do we think now with Vanderpump Rules canceled, they're all going to kind of go back to Ariana to try and ride her coattails? Because like Scheana only got emo Good as Gold because they did emo night, which Ariana hosted with Katie and Scheana, but they only got because of Scandival that Ariana was involved in. So then Scheana has this like second chance at her music career, but now with Vanderpump Rules canceled, do you see where I'm going with this?
Oh, yeah. And I think that they have really put the nail in the coffin with their relationships with Ariana. It's kind of hard to like crawl back. Prior to this episode, I thought that they could crawl back into friendship like with Ariana, but it is, to me, this
not
is
looking good. Yeah. So Scheana tells us she's fallen back in love with music, and Sandoval is so pumped for her. And I think this band that she plays with is the 27s, you know, the one that Katie went on a date with a guy he didn't know what penne was. That band. But she's in the band, I guess. So Scheana has a band. They're going to go on tour.
Oh,
if you want to see them, I'm sure tickets cost maybe $12. So go check them out.
This is weird.
Okay, Ariana goes to find Scheana after her performance. So excited for Scheana.
What a good friend. What a good friend who is pumped for her friend.
So proud of her. And Scheana tells Ariana that Sandoval flew out this sound guy. And Scheana feels like this is a really genuine side of Tom Sandoval. And she's hoping he's changing. And Ariana's like, it's the same fucking thing with Scheana. Like, would Scheana, like, why does Scheana think she knows this man better than Ariana does? You know? And this whole time she's talking to Scheana, she has like tears. It looks like she has tears in her eyes. Like her eyes are wet. Like, just like, please stop.
She's had enough. It's enough. Leave Ariana alone.
Enough. So, Ariana basically tells Scheana, like, please don't talk to me about Sandoval's path of growth. That's her ex-boyfriend who she does not who does not deserve to be in her presence, and that will not change. And Sheena's like,
that is all Ariana has said, by the way, like up until now, like mean. And it was actually in a very nice tone. It was like, listen, you can do this journey. leave me out of it. I don't
tell
want to
me
be
about
a
it.
part of it. Like in the
You
after show,
can't.
Ariana says, like, I'm not your diary. Stop telling me every fucking thing about him.
Well, that's the thing. You could tell me about literally anything else in your life. If it has to do with him, leave it out. And that's the boundary. And they can't
Mm-hmm.
even do that. Like, just
No.
shut up. So Scheana says, Ariana, you say you want no contact, but it feels like you want apologies from him. And Ariana says she does not want to talk to him again ever. She does not want an apology. And Scheana
Yeah.
goes, what about like how he hasn't apologized to you, how you said that? And Ariana goes, I don't want him to apologize, but the point is he's never apologized. He's had
Yeah.
chances. We're at a fucking reunion together. He could have really taken ownership, but he didn't. So, like, why?
I am trying to point out to you that he is not sorry. I'm trying to point out that for your sake. Not that I want him to come apologize, because I truly want him out of my life. I want nothing to do with him.
Nothing. So, Ariana has to hammer it home that she does not want any apologies. And Scheana then is like, I don't want to compromise my friendship with you, but I can't write him off forever. And Ariana's like, look, I'm going to protect myself and I'm going to keep myself out of situations that are uncomfortable for me. But like, I've never told you to stop, or I've never told you what to do with your life, and I'm not going to stop loving you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but she's not going to have mutual friends with him. That is her boundary.
I think I don't really think Scheana being friends with Sandoval is the problem. It's how people go about it and how people involve Ariana in their friendship with Sandoval or what they say to Sandoval. Like, I think Ariana watching this back is going to be more hurt. And it's like Sheena's own actions are what's going to lose her friendship with Ariana, not her friendship with Sandoval. It's like her shit talking Ariana is what's going to lose her friendship with Ariana.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we've hammered this home before. You can do whatever you want, just don't involve Ariana and don't speak about her. She doesn't want this man in her life. So if you're going to
Yeah.
hang out with Tom Sandoval, Ariana should not come out of your mouth. And then do not speak about Tom Sandoval to Ariana. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the boundary.
And it's not
And like,
crazy. I feel like that's
that's not
not the most
crazy.
insane thing to ask. No.
It's literally, it's so normal. If you have two friends that don't like each other, just don't talk about them to each other. Like, it's very common and easy to fucking deal with.
Yeah.
Also, how often are you saying Tom Sandoval that the only thing you have to catch up on is his ex-boy or his ex-girlfriend?
That's a thing. It shouldn't be that big of a burden, too. Like, it shouldn't be so much pressure on Scheana to not talk about Ariana when she's with Sandoval.
So weird. So Scheana says she doesn't want to lose Ariana, and Ariana again hammers home that Scheana is family, that she's not going to lose her. And then out of nowhere, Tom Sandoval shows up. I swear I did not see him coming. Out of nowhere. And
Dude,
he,
the way she swerved this, though,
amazing.
insane.
So yeah, he goes in to like congratulate Scheana. Ariana turns right around and walks away. He tries going
Rude?
after Ariana. Ariana, wait, Ariana. And Sheena's like, Tom, stop. So then Tom stops and he goes back to Scheana and he goes, I just want to tell her I'm sorry. And Sheena's like, she doesn't want to talk to you. And producers then approach Ariana at the like VIP table and they tell
Oh my
Ariana,
God.
don't do this. And Ariana goes, no, he can't just walk up on me. He doesn't care about me. And she makes a really good point, as in he could have given
Mm-hmm.
her a deadly STD the way he was fucking behind her back. That's non-informed consent, and he
Yep.
does not deserve to speak to her or have any access to her.
Mm-hmm.
And this producer is like, please, please do it. And she's like, no.
Just
And
give him
then,
a moment. Come
no.
on.
So then Scheana and Sandoval talk, and Sheena's like, Ariana doesn't want to talk to you. She thinks you're performative and that I'm an idiot. And this is where I was like, Scheana, shut the fuck up. This is what she's talking about.
What?
Don't talk about her. Don't talk about her to this man.
Yes. Like, it is, Scheana, you are willingly attacking your friend to someone she doesn't like. That's what's going to lose your friendship with
That's
her.
shitty. Yeah. And then Sandoval goes, that's funny because she knows me well enough to know I'm not performative. And Scheana looks at him and goes,
Okay.
so what do I mean to you? And Sandoval goes, a lot. And Scheana goes, because of the show or life? And Sandoval's like, life because I show up. And Scheana tells him, don't make me look like a fucking idiot. And then she walks away and he chases
Too
after
late,
her.
darling.
Yeah.
If Alicia, if you asked me on the spot, what do you mean to me? I would have a lot more to say than a lot.
Be like, because of this podcast or because of life? You're like, life because I show up. I
Like,
go, show up to
what?
fucking what? Yeah, what are we talking
Like,
about?
you have no other words?
And then, Billy Lee, what are you doing here? Billy Lee's here. And Sandoval tells Billy Lee that Ariana is the one that's performative because she doesn't like anyone here. And then we cut back to the producer that's telling Ariana not to do this. And Ariana says, he's just trying to talk to me because we have cameras. It's because we have an audience. He can't.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows he's pissed because he can't get to Ariana and he will never be fully redeemed until he apologizes to her. And she will not give him that option. And I went, as you should.
She is not the final boss in this redemption tour.
Absolutely not. Do not give him an option. So, Ariana calls a Lyft, and the real ones, Brad and Dan and some other woman that we haven't met yet, they're going. They follow her out. And Sandoval says if she doesn't want to film with her ex, then she shouldn't be on the show. Don't sit on your lazy ass and collect a check for doing nothing. And I went, nothing?
Him calling her lazy is so lazy. I mean, Alicia, I literally wrote down, here's everything she's done on the show. Like this season, she created and like wrote and made a cocktail book, and she's been working on something about her, which is opening on May 22nd. By the way, off the show, she's been doing multiple commercials all year long, and two of them played during this actual episode airing, her DSW and her Love Island hosting. Both of those she has done. And she announced her return to Broadway the day that the finale premiered. So I'm sorry, she's lazy?
Well, even if we just go as a reality star, she's talked about her body image issues. She's talked about her sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
She has talked about her relationship. She has talked about her friendships.
Her dad dying.
She's watched her, or had to deal with her dad dying, her grandma dying, her dog dying. On top of all that, her life was ripped to shreds on the last season. And you're calling her performance on this show lazy? Lazy?
It's insane to me.
Go buy some batteries and leave her the fuck alone.
Buy some. What? Because I was thinking for a while, like since I've watched the episode and I've watched it twice since it aired, what the fuck did anybody else bring to this season? I could barely think of anything.
Tom Sandoval brought his trumpet. His trumpet's back. That's about it.
Like, what were their storylines? They like the rest of this episode, they're like, Ariana doesn't show up. And I'm like, I have not heard of one instance where she didn't show up to filming and she should have, outside of maybe Lake Tahoe. But Katie didn't either. And we're not saying Katie doesn't show up to things. Like, what is anybody else doing? Like, a water tasting is not interesting enough.
Do you want to know what I think it is, though? If you look at like the entirety of Vanderpump Rules, they've all gone through a lot of stuff. But the way Ariana has dealt with it, she's dealt with it differently. She doesn't show the same emotions. She's not as sad, I'll say. And we've seen that this season. She doesn't like cry as much. She mostly just has rage or anger or just lets it go because she can just like deal with it on her own, you know? Whereas we saw like Tom Sandoval, what was something he went through? It was the big breakup with Kristen. He was very emotional through all that. Right? Katie and her divorce. Yes, it was or not even that. Her marriage, her relationship to Schwartz. It was very emotional. Lala, when she got dumped by Randall or when everyone yelled at her, it was very emotional. Just because Ariana doesn't handle it the same way doesn't mean she hasn't brought anything. We have had conversations about our bodies. We have had conversations about our sexuality. We have conversations about death, all because of Ariana and complicated female friendships.
And here's the thing, this season, what I have really taken away on a positive note is like seeing Ariana stand up for herself consistently and reinforcing her boundaries was very inspiring because at the end of the day, even if you had, like she had supportive friends, it truly is up to you to hold your own boundaries every single day. And they're constantly going to be tested by the people who don't like them. And like, it reminded me that it is so worth the peace that you get from boundaries to like have someone test them and to hold strong and like protect yourself.
Always. Always look out for yourself first. So, Sandoval then, oh my God, he's on a, listen, I got lots of thoughts, but let's just make it kind of through. And
his
he
demeanor
goes,
completely 180s 3 different times, like through this like tantrum, I'm gonna call
shows,
it.
if you will, male rage and charges the VIP section.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts yelling at Scheana, Lala, and like Schwartz of all people. Like, fuck. And he says, he's pissed Ariana did this because Ariana talks shit about all you fuckers and Sandoval's gonna be the better thing. He's gonna come. He's gonna show up. And Scheana goes, why are you yelling?
When does she not show up?
Well, then Sheena's like, why are you yelling at us? We get it. Like, and he goes, oh, Scheana, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I was yelling. I didn't mean it. I'm not mad. We're besties, you know.
I don't yell at women. I only yell at women who disagree with me. You're on my side? Oh, I don't have to yell at you anymore.
Never mind. Well, Scheana was like, why are you yelling at us? Like, we didn't do anything. And Sandoval's like, I actually don't yell at women. I'm never defensive. I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't me. Sorry.
Literally, it was so scary to watch him completely demeanor change.
It was crazy.
Like, whoa.
Because then he's also like, Scheana, stop yelling at me. It's okay. And I was like, what? Excuse? Scheana yelled at you to stop yelling at her.
I'm vulnerable.
This is why Scheana cannot pick a side. She's not getting yelled at from all angles here, you know? Scheana's just trying to live.
But it's all Ariana's fault. Remember, Ariana is laying on the pressure to
for sure.
Scheana.
I wish,
no one else.
You know what? Scheana would have been better just to say, everyone's yelling at me and I don't know what to do. Just be dumb. Don't blame it on anyone. Just say, like, I'm getting yelled at all angles, you know? I'm just trying to be a mom to Summer Moon and, like, I don't know, sing my songs about fruit. Like, I'm just trying to live.
I'm just trying to sing my songs about fruit.
You know what I was just trying to do. So, great. So Sandoval says he's sorry he made it hard for Scheana. But you know what? This kills him because if there's one person who can make it not about Scheana, it's Tom Sandoval. He's like, Scheana, I know you're making this about you, but actually it's about me.
It's about me.
Guess what, bitch? It's me. Fuck you.
I'm the victim.
Yeah. Ariana's like, I'm the victim. And she was like, actually, I'm the victim. And Sandoval goes, I'll do you one better. Me, the perpetrator, is the victim. So Sandoval says it's going to be hard for the people who stand by him. They haven't even forgiven him. They just see him for who he is as a person.
Shut up.
And
Shut up right now.
They're going to get hate for that. And Bravo actually took some of the hate, and I actually wrote all of them down because they were so funny. Can I read you them?
Yes, please.
I'm sick of Lala's pandering. You can't be softer if you're giving a psycho cheater a second chance while talking trash about your BFFs in their business. James may be worse than Scheana and Lala. He put in more effort to keep Tom than both of them with zero flack. I can't take any more of Sheena's tears for Sandoval. Why doesn't she have them for Ariana? Does she have a crush on him?
Oh my God.
I can't with the terrible trio of Lala, Scheana, and Tom. If they want to be friends, they can leave because I'm done. Eat shit and bye-bye. Lala loves to preach about her growth, but going behind your friend's back and befriending her ex is not growth, Lauren.
Oh my God.
And that was the hate. And honestly, I think that's tame. They should have clipped this podcast and fucking played it. Because you know what? They can only eat fucking horse shit. I wish nothing but the worst for all of them. That includes Tom Sandoval and anyone who fucking supports him. Get fucked.
No.
Quote that.
I fully agree. And I felt like Bravo putting those like tweets or whatever they were, the like social media comments up there, was trying to like shame us for being mad at their minions. And I was like, fuck you guys. Like, how dare you try and make us the crazy ones or
How
us
dare.
like the ones in the wrong? Like, you guys did this. You guys suck. Don't even
How
try,
dare.
Bravo.
Absolutely
Fuck
not.
you.
This is, like I said, this is very tame hate. So this was barely the surface. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Lala says she's been biting her tongue on her opinion, not because she's scared, but because it's breaking the fourth wall. But
Fuck off, Lala.
She's done. This happened to Ariana. The world rallied around her.
Mhm.
She now thinks she's Beyonce.
No, she doesn't.
It's bullshit. She can't film with someone she lives with. It's not a lot. Lala gets it. Or it's a lot. Lala gets it. Sandoval cheated, and he looked them in the eye and said a lot of shit, but he did not kill anybody. So what?
God, nobody said he did.
The fuck?
That's why he's not in prison.
He's not on trial for murder.
The punishment
we just hate him.
Fits the crime. We didn't send him away.
Also, at this point, I know like the fandom hated him, but like we had calmed down a little bit. Like, okay, so the fandom hates you, but also your ex just doesn't want to film with you. That's the punishment? It's pretty tame.
Yeah, like again, and she said it from the very first episode, from the last reunion. She was so clear. I never want to see you again. So where's the miscommunication? Like, where are you shocked? And I hate that, like, Lala, all season, we got it in the teaser, like this God comment, and she just compared, Ariana to Beyonce. And like did all of that press tour, after filming the reunion that, like Lala or Ariana has such a huge ego, bigger than Lala's. I'm not seeing the ego. Like, what am I missing here?
Yeah, Lala says she's never in her life experienced someone who has been cheated on and suddenly she becomes God. And I went, God? She's also not saying, like, don't be friends with him. I haven't
seen it either, so...
She's saying, if you want to be friends with him, don't be friends with me. And people are like, how dare you
leave me alone?
That pressure on us. Yeah. Also, just because he compares himself to Scott Peterson does not mean he's a fucking murderer, okay? Calm down. Get that stick out of your fucking ass, can't. Lauren from Utah. Calm the fuck down. I'm sorry that when you got cheated on, no one cared. I didn't. I saw it coming a mile away. I'm sorry that's the case.
Lauren acts like this is some groundbreaking breaking of the fourth wall. Like, what? I was like, this was nothing. This was nothing.
You didn't mention production once.
Yeah, it's like all you're saying is that, oh, like you want Ariana to do something for the show and she's not doing it, and so therefore you're mad. Okay, and like, so what you're telling me is that you cannot provide for this show. You cannot show up and be entertaining yourself. You need somebody else to actually show up and do it. But Ariana's the one who's terrible and sucks and doesn't show up for the show.
Lauren from Utah, I wish you nothing but the worst. Nothing.
Yeah. I hope every time you wipe your hand or your finger goes through.
Every time you wipe your ass, your finger breaks through the toilet paper. Every single time. Mm-hmm. That's what I fucking wish for you.
Every time.
I hope your shoes, all your sandals break while you're walking, or your heel snaps off. Yes. I hope the absolute worst.
Yep. And you're nowhere close to home.
Oh my God. Nowhere. I hope your phone dies all the time when you're out and you can't figure out why. I wish that on you. All of it.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Okay,
I hope Ocean types your passcode in 100 times and then your phone is locked for 3 hours.
I hope Ocean dunks your phone in the fucking toilet. How about that one? Dead. And you don't have rice. That's what I wish for you. Oh. Ew. Okay, so Lala says she loves filming the show. This is when we start to get like the montage. So everyone stick with me. Lala says she loves filming the show.
This was a cute edit if I didn't hate them.
That's the thing is people I was talking to were like, I got teary-eyed. And I was like, oh, I was so mad. There were no tears. I was just like, fuck this show. So
I was like, the edit was good. on like the timing of the music, but like fuck you guys.
Oh, it was funny. So Lala loves filming the show because it's real and it's healing. And for Ariana to walk out this way is a slap in the face. And I went, why? She didn't walk out on you.
What?
It doesn't have to be healing for her.
She made a stance and then she left and went to Applebee's. Like, I feel like it wasn't that dramatic.
Shout out to Applebee's. So we get a montage of all like them in their first season because they've been doing this for most of their adult life. Scheana has a whole different face. Truly, I love it. It was hilarious. They talk like Lala keeps talking about how Ariana hasn't been truthful. This is where I wish that Lauren from Utah has a garbage life. Okay, but then Katie jumps in and
what has she lied about? I'm like, give me facts then. If you think she's not being truthful, if you think she's hiding something, tell me. Tell me what, because
blanket statements.
Clearly we don't know.
Just blanket statements. So Katie says, if you have to stick to your boundaries, if your peace is worth that, then you should. That's what you need to do for yourself. And Ariana says, if it's something that mattered to you, you would do it off camera. Sandoval has never tried to apologize to her off camera. He will only do it when there's cameras rolling. So that means it's not real. He could have written her a note and left it in the kitchen table.
That's facts. Because on Watch What Happens Live, or actually, I think it was the after show. Somebody, I think Jax was like, "Oh, are you gonna try and talk to her?" And he was like, "Yeah, we have a reunion coming up." I was like, "Oh, the next time cameras will be up, you'll try and talk to her." Okay, yeah, you just proved us right.
That, like, yeah, okay, you could write her a letter and she can read it at her leisure. She might not read it right away, but she can read it when she wants. You could also give the letter to, I don't know, Scheana or Lala or one of these mutual friends y'all have.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to them and be
email her. You emailed her about the house.
Yeah, you could email her. You could have your lawyer send over an email. Like, I don't know, but there's ways to go about it. But like to try and bombard her at a public place when she's made it clear she does not want to speak to you face to face. And for then producers to also be like, you should do it. Fuck you. So
I hate it.
Yeah, so we basically get like everyone kind of leaving this I don't know, like shot of San Francisco in the dark. And the last line is Sandoval saying, I love this. It looks good for me. And then the show's done. And I said, end the show, end the show, end the show. Of course it looked good for him. Well,
I hope they do.
It didn't, but like he thinks it looked good for him because he tried to apologize. So
I have a question for you about that last line.
Yeah.
Do you think that they added that in when they saw like what the audience was thinking, or do you think that was their plan all along?
I kind of think it was their plan all along, so people could be like, yeah, he tried to apologize. It did look good for him. It looks bad for Ariana, but like you're wrong. What do you think?
I don't think it was originally in there. I think that they were like, oop, because they like did that one extended episode during the season because they were like, oop, whoa, wait, we did this wrong, but it's a little too late to fix everything. Like we can't go reshoot the season.
Yeah, here's my other thing. So they did the reunion a long time ago. So they probably saw different episodes and not the extended cuts, obviously. So like the reunion just has to be terrible. Right? Like, am I crazy?
The only positive thing is when they got their episodes, they did not get like, let's say the last 7 minutes of this finale and they watch it all together, the last like 7 minutes. So everything that we just got enraged about, they watched together.
Did you think including this line?
That's what I don't know. But even if not, like seeing like Lala and Scheana, the things that they said like after Ariana had left, like that would be friendship ending for me.
Same. So end the show. Cancel it. Be done with it. This is a fine ending. No one needs closure anymore. We're done. No one cares. Okay, cool. So accepted and blocked. I have counted all the previous episodes. We have just this episode left, and I will tell you who was the most accepted and who was the most blocked. There's a lot of options for blocked.
There's too many people to block. So
I would like to say for accepted,
I don't know how to pick.
For accepted, I'm only accepting the wolf pack for anyone. So you and I can only pick from 4 people, and that is Katie, James, Ariana, Allie. That's wolf pack. That is the only 4 we can accept. So who are you accepting?
And I'm telling that to our entire audience. That goes for everybody else out there too. Accept. If you like to play along, those are the rules in the episode only. This week.
So who are you accepting?
I'm going to let you go first.
There's only 4, Meredith. Let me go first.
I know, but I want to give you the highest honor of choosing.
Thank you so much. I have to go Ariana on this one since I'm going first. She's got to be number 1. Stick to your boundaries, girl. We don't have to go into it. We just went on a whole tangent. So that one.
Yes, I wanted to give you Ariana, and I will pick Katie because Katie is an excellent best friend and the support system to Ariana that she fucking needed this season.
I'm going to say we don't even need to explain it. Just Ariana, Katie, duh. Same thing with blocked. We don't even need to explain it. Who are you blocking? Go for it.
It's Lala. I'm so disappointed.
Great. Lala can get fucked. Okay, so I just need to, because he scarily yelled at us at the end, I'm going Tom Sandoval. That was ridiculous. Fuck you. Okay, Meredith, do you want to guess who was the most blocked and the most accepted?
Sandoval is the most blocked.
Yes,
obviously.
with 10 blocks.
And I think the most accepted is Ariana.
You would be wrong.
James?
No.
Katie.
Yes.
Katie was a rock star.
Katie was the most accepted.
Makes sense.
I think she was just in the trenches more, Ariana really set her boundaries and she went, absolutely not.
True. And we just thought Katie was so hot this season. Like
hot
Katie was
is
on
an
another
understatement.
level.
An understatement. Okay, cool. So we have some Patreon thoughts. We've gone very long, so let's do it quick and concise. Tracy says, Scheana is the Walmart version of J-Lo. I will not be elaborating. No need, we got it. Tracy says, good luck with the recap. I'm so upset by everything. I don't know how you guys will get through it. The producers are delusional and thinking I will ever be on Tom's side after watching that. Yeah, well, they're not the smartest people in the bunch, or else Vanderpump Rules would be filming for the summer, but it's not, so fuck you.
I mean, how are you so dumb?
You are really dumb, for real. What was that? That was the guy, the YouTuber. They're the guy on the news. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It was like the guy, he had his, oh my God, I could picture it. It was like he got robbed or something, and he's like, the dumbest robber. You are really dumb, for real. And he said on the news. I'll send you the clip. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know. Anyway, so Chrissy says, I can't wait to hear your thoughts, ladies. I was so engrossed, I didn't take any real notes. I've been waiting for this for so long. Lala making the comment about Ariana becoming a god. Get it right. She's a goddess of no bullshit. And that's all Tom is, bullshit. Her comment about her being the final boss in Tom's redemption arc was chef kiss. That's all he's doing, trying to, quote, win. And I'm so glad he won't be given the chance. It's the same old with everyone else. Hearing Sandoval laugh at the end, talking about how good this is for him. No, it's not. This proves what a piece of shit you are. Bye, Felicia.
Yep.
Literally. Okay. Tierney says, first off, Peacock gave us another uncensored and extended version. I really wish they would make all the shows uncensored because it just feels right with no bleeps. Agreed. I love a swear word.
I agree. And I feel like it's not that hard.
No, absolutely not. Tierney says, anyway, the final scene was wow. My mind is swimming and I've been trying to gather what I wanted to say. Ariana walking away and holding her ground was perfect. Only thing better would have been Katie walking with her. I know. I don't think Katie knew what was happening. And maybe Katie also doesn't like Applebee's. We don't really know.
It seems like Ariana had plans with the 3 people anyways. They had already talked about going to Applebee's. I'm not really that concerned that Katie didn't leave with her. That doesn't mean they're not friends. It's just different.
Yeah. So, Tierney says, remind me who said Lauren from Utah and Brock were the voices of the season, because I seriously don't see it. I see
Andy Cohen.
Andy needs to get
fucking fired. Cohen.
Someone fire him and replace him with us. We would do such a better job on Watch What Happens Live and at reunions. We just kill it.
And on Watch What Happens Live, Jack said such a misogynistic comment, and Andy said nothing.
Yeah,
it was so gross.
I saw that. I mean, Andy made a face, but he should have shut it down.
Yeah.
This is your network. Why are you putting this on your show?
Keep in mind, that was pre-taped. Like, they could have fixed
cut it out. Yeah, they could have had Andy say something. They could have dubbed over him or anything and just made it fake. Like, what the fuck? They could have cut it out.
Yeah.
But they leave it in. It was so wild. Anyway, I see two people who are, yes, trying to do their jobs. However, Ariana is still doing her job, just not speaking to one person. Lauren from Utah's speech was such horseshit because once again, if Rand was still on the show, she would have refused to film with him and said as much on her podcast a few weeks ago. So she can fuck off. God, Lauren from Utah, I'll fight you. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brock basically says that he favors Sandoval because Sandoval does things for them. So what's that telling me, or what that's telling me is that he's greedy and a person who thinks in what have you done for me lately? Shall we call Janet Jackson because that was her song? He can fuck right off. Yeah, Brock's also transactional, I guess. Okay, Tierney says, I refuse to watch What Happens Live because Sandoval and Jax were on it, but I did see a TikTok someone asked about Sandoval's rant and how Ariana is performative and how she hates everyone, etc. Anyway, he admitted that he was being performative, so he can also fuck right off.
No. He said, "Oh, I was being a little dramatic." What? You're a lot dramatic, sir.
You're being very dramatic. It was scary. You were yelling at Scheana, and Scheana literally was just grabbing her jacket. It's like, why are you yelling at me?
On your like someone who was on your side, you were screaming.
Yeah, she
at.
fucking has your back. You're yelling at her. So, Tierney says, I'm not sure if the Bravo version showed the dude getting in a fight with the cast, but it was shown on Peacock, and the dude was sitting in the VIP area with them. Lala and Katie were both so uncomfortable and almost scared. Then they showed the whole interaction. So if it wasn't in the Bravo edit, try and look it up. Yeah, it was crazy. Honestly, it wasn't funny because it can be scary, but I was cracking up because this guy's so drunk and stupid. Like there was just also they have security. They're not in danger. This guy was a wimp.
I like not having it in the original because I was so focused on what a train wreck this show is. So funny. I got it after my initial like hatred.
Yeah. So Tierney says I'll be very curious after the ending if it actually turns out to be on pause or a cancellation on the series because the flashbacks and music sounded final. I know the ratings were still through the roof, so I'm sure they will be back, but it could have definitely been a series finale. Oh, it should be. I swear to fucking God. If Ariana and Katie are not on it as a duo, I will not watch the show. There's no way I can.
We're done.
We're done.
No, we're done.
This is it. So for my final accepted in block, I'm accepting Ariana, Avi. Outside of just walking away, she was so supportive to a friend who basically all season told her that her friendship wasn't as important as Sandoval's is. At lunch, her and Dan were very cute, etc. I could go on. Blocked, I'm giving it to Lauren from Utah. She wasn't the voice of reason. She ranted on and on about how she has had storylines. What were they? No, seriously, I'm asking. She had the hard conversations, and it all boils down to she's jealous.
No, I genuinely asked that.
Like what she's done?
Please tell me what the fuck anybody else was doing this season.
3 reunion episodes to go. We got this Vanderpasta family. Woohoo. Okay, last comment. Tonette says, this episode really felt like the last season in so many ways. Me personally, I think they should just leave it right there. Quit while you're ahead and leave it. I fucking agree. Like, should have been canceled yesterday, you know? Okay, so those are all of our thoughts. Thank you so much. We basically agree with all of them, so nothing new.
Great job. You passed.
I can't wait to go on Twitter and look at what everything said. So follow the Instagram because I will be posting those. And yeah, I think that's it. Meredith, did I miss anything before I close this out with James's quote?
I'm disappointed. That's where I leave this. I'm so disappointed.
Well, at least it might be over, so we'll be done. Anyway, with that being said, do all the things and forget what you heard and remember where you heard it first.
Thanks for joining. Bye.